Welcome to my daily review. Today is Wednesday, September 24th. You're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, which fell 76 points today, or 0.33, or a third of a percent on average volume. And you can see here, I switched this green line here on the Nasdaq to a 10-day. So it pulled back to its 10-day line, which is 22,388. The low was 397. So essentially a little kiss of the 10-day line, and then not much of a bounce. You can see here, like, there's your low, and then it kind of bounced a little bit into the close. See what that looks like on a 1 minute chart. Yeah, okay, so here's your low, and then a little bit of buyers come in, so it didn't close at the low of the session. But if you look at it, it just looks like a little microscopic move up here because the indexes moved so much in the last 4 months. And so now the Nasdaq is 4.4% above the 50, which we like, 1.8% above the 21. So yeah, I kind of like that it's pulling in. Had some people saying, because I say, oh, this is healthy, the pullback is healthy, and people say, no, I just bought stock today. We don't want it to go down. It's not going to go up every day. And the pullback is needed, necessary, and healthy going forward. And the rest of September, the Nasdaq's up a lot this month. And so, yeah, pullback, it's up nearly 5% this month. So a pullback into the end of September is, yeah, to me, it's welcome. I mean, let's bring it to the 21 and bring some stock prices down and set us up for a nice October, because I've mentioned over and over and over again that there's a lot of stocks setting up in bases. I'm not going to go over them today because I have a little different agenda today. I do want to get to some of the Mag 7 stocks like Tesla. This one broke out of a base and this thing's still trending nicely. I'm going to switch back to the five, if you will allow me, indulge. Yeah, because a lot of leading stocks are trading along the five. So pull back to the five yesterday and bounce nicely today. I want to take a look at this on a 5 minute chart here. Yeah, there's your Monday action just dying into the close, and whoop, just kidding. Tuesday, excuse me, that was Tuesday. Let me go back again. Sorry about that. Your Tuesday sell off. This is your Monday. This is your Tuesday sell off. And then Wednesday we gap and go all day long. Thank you very much. So strong day for Tesla. I think it's set up for tomorrow to continue that bounce going forward. We'll have to wait and see. There's overall general weakness in the market, with the Nasdaq being down like that. And that's kind of your backdrop. I don't like to get super aggressive when the market's selling off like this. I shouldn't say selling off, just pulling in slightly. There's just a little more headwinds. I like it when, the Nasdaq's up, to, 2 or 3 or 4%. So much easier to trade that way. You want the wins that you're in, the sales at your back, right? So we can really take advantage of the market. And it's been a super strong market. Amazon was upgraded today and sold off. So that's just a red flag for me. Like, they have litigation about the ability to cancel Prime. And we'll just see how that lawsuit turns out. But right now it's hanging over its head like an albatross. This thing's not going anywhere. NVIDIA, I like this thing set up in a base. Once again, the AI stocks are actually selling off these last couple of days. I'm going to get to that later on in this program, the show here, about how some of the leading AI stocks, I think, are giving us an opportunity to get in, but you just got to be patient and be, observant, vigilant, and, disciplined. Don't just jump in at the first time, a sign of weakness. Wait for a bounce. All right, we had news this morning from UniQURE. This is Huntington's disease, and super a strong move here, 247% move. After hours, they filed a secondary offering, and the thing's is, is going up on a secondary offering. So we'll see how that responds to that offering tomorrow. But CLPT is the platform for UniQURE, and this one went up as well. Yeah, to the tune of 58%, not bad. It had been in a complete downtrend and now blasted through all of its moving averages. So that helped lift some of the drug stocks, which I'll get to in a minute. But I have to mention the U.S. government now getting involved with, well, it's called Lithium America, so it should be part of America, right? But it's a Canada-based company, and U.S. wants part of it. It's up nearly 100% today. It wasn't so much, that this stock was up 100%. It's just the speculation that other companies might have, get assistance or be involved with the U.S. government. That helped the entire sector, and it doesn't need it because this is one of the top sectors. But I just got to show you some of the names that benefited. I'm just going to be random here. Southern Copper, this one broke out of a base here. You can see this cup, with a handle. And this is why, I follow patterns, is because I shouldn't say more often than not, but there are times where these things break out nicely, and not always. All patterns don't work, all the time. There's no absolutes in the stock market, except for you'll absolutely get your butt kicked if you argue with the market. That's true. But CTGO, I'm just going to randomly go through some stocks. I don't own any of these, but they're strong here. This is a Contango. This one's making a new high. Well, they do a mineral. This is a mineral company in Alaska. They do yeah, okay. You can see it broke out recently, making a new high today. So yeah, all right, Contango. Never heard of the company, but when they make new highs, you have to acknowledge, why are they making new highs? And you look around for some of the pen action. This is Energy Fuels, a uranium company. Then just yeah. They're all doing well. UEC actually looked at this one yesterday. This one popped and then pulled back. Today it's been super strong. Then a coal company, METC. This is not in the minor group, but it's just ripping higher. And I just threw that in there with the rest of them because I don't have a group from it. Hudson, they were having trouble in Chile or Peru, and that's why it sold off yesterday. And then, today with that news, this thing was up 5% and made a new high. I think there was a strike at one of their mines in Peru. Yeah, there you go. That's Hudbay Minerals. So a lot of them are just doing extremely well. I want to mention some that, I don't talk about often. This is Ivanhoe Electric. If you're just a base trader, say this went up to 1325, pulled back. Now it's forming a base, traded through its moving averages. I wouldn't wait to 1325, for this one if I wanted to own it. The 5 has gone through the 50 and maybe you wait through the 21, but it looks like this one's starting a strong uptrend and it was helped by the news today. All right, so that's the miners. And I'm not going to talk about gold. I got away today while talking about gold. No gold stocks today. But since I mentioned Unicura and CLPT, I've got to go to some of the drug stocks that were moving today, and this one's been moving for a while. And you can see this group now has climbed up to a top 20 group. This one has like 900 stocks in the group. There's a lot of penny, stocks or dollar stocks that drag it down that are going out of business, but there are some real stellar stocks, and this is one of them. Let me see. What else do I have? CNTA. Yeah, this one's making a new high, breaking out of a base. Very nice. CDTX. Once again, I don't know what all these things do. Fungal infections, All I know is I'm just observing the market, like observing the fish tank, right? What do the fish do? Observe the fish. So, yeah, these drug stocks up 20%. I like it. What else do I have in this group? Oh, one that I often mention, but nobody likes. I mentioned it on Twitter and total crickets. This thing broke out, power through the pivot back here, September 12th. And this, because it's a thin stock, nobody likes it. And, people get burned in biotech. 450 million is a flea of a company. But you can't deny the strength here, 29 to 73. Thank you very much. If that were a software name, they'd be all over it. I cannot tell a lie. I is another one. It's a vision, retail vision glasses company, which reminds me, Warby Parker is another one in this group. Yeah, that looks good setting up in a base. So those two look good. And the last one, I just threw that one in there is Kayla. Yeah, this one I mentioned many times before. Big run, pullback, and now 13% move today. Very nice. So the drug names doing okay. TGTX, the old standby for me. They presented today 6 year study and like I don't know, it's like 99% safety over 6 years. I think that's pretty conclusive. This is a very safe product. When you're taking a drug, you want to know about its effectiveness and the safety. It's kind of a priority. I don't know. Anyway, side effects are you die. Yeah, that's kind of a serious side effect. Alibaba up 8%, breaking out today. China stocks have been strong if you follow the China market. Big news with the LLM and man, big volume here for Alibaba. Let's take a look at this on the weekly. This is a big company. There's the breakout, 3 weeks ago. And then 2 weeks ago here, last week, and then this week. Last week here, 5%. This week it's up 8%. That's a big move for a company of this size, for over 400 billion market cap for Alibaba. And then Baidu pulled back, undercut the five. That probably came down to the 10 here, and then bounced a little bit today, 6%. We like that. And then FUTU, this one's been a super strong name, pulled back to the 50, undercut it, and then rallied now back through the moving averages. So kind of like that undercut and rally move from FUTU. All right, the star of the show today, I hate to say it, plug your ears, close your eyes. Oil and gas. Oil and gas is coming on, man. There's a lot of nice quality charts in the oil and gas stocks. Winter is coming, so I think the gas is probably more important. But this one had a cup and handle pattern, had a 3 weeks tight, and now it's really starting to move out at 4%. This is Marathon Petroleum. It's a refiner company, and you could see the other refiners that I showed yesterday. PARR is another refiner. Man, this thing broke out. Looks fantastic. Just an inside day today. And then DK, which is Delic. And this one had an inside day today too, after breaking out. Another one is AM. This is one, if I'm going to buy one, I want to buy one close to a buy point. So AM, yeah, I did buy that one. So just to have a little slower name on the portfolio. And you can't have all core weaves and IRENs and open doors. So, you look for something that's, a little, here's your alpha and your beta. Below market, one would be market. So it's trading, slower than the market. So I kind of like that. Yeah, I don't want everything so darn fast because I like to go out and golf and bike and work in the garden. I don't want to sit here and look at my stocks go crazy and give me a heart attack. IMO, in my opinion, or Imperial Oil, pullback continues to get support at the 21 consistently, right, since breaking out of this base. Yeah, right here is the breakout. Pulls back to 21, 21, 21, 21, 21. Keeps going higher, right? So buy the 21, sell above. Pretty simple trade there. SU, although I don't do it, I don't trade oil and gas much. At all, except for in 2022 when his only game in town. This one broke out, pulled back to the 21, found support. That was your handle here. Cup with handle. There's your handle. Big move up, pulls back to the 21. Yeah, these things are looking good. DINO. DINO is that's the one that I used to trade a long time ago. No more, but yeah, I got to change this. This is driving me nuts. All right, breakout recently, just surfing the moving average there. Thank you very much. Yeah, surfing the five. That's a strong oil and gas. That's another refiner. All right, CVE is another one. Oil and gas this is an integrated stock, integrated like Chevron, integrated in ExxonMobil. There's not a lot of them. And the last one, somebody asked me to look at Devon, which is quality exploration stock. This is getting this stuff out of the ground. I want to say they have a big operation in the Permian Basin, Matterhorn. Let me see what's going on here. I don't really know where their digs are, but you can see this is in a stage 4 decline, and now it's forming this like stage 1 base here. If you're looking to get into this, yeah, it looks like it made a low, definitely made a low, and now made this little consolidation pattern and needs a trade above that. Let's see what that looks like on the daily. Yeah, I'd say 38. 35.60, 36.57. The problem with buying stuff like this is that it's got a lot of overhead supply. So those people, who bought here and rode this all the way down, when it gets back up, these guys are gonna sell. And then it climbs higher, and these guys are gonna sell. And it climbs higher, and these guys are gonna sell. So once they get back to even, which makes it tougher to break out of one of these stage one bases, but not saying that it can't. This is a well-run company. Take a look at, it's a superb cash flow, 23% return on equity. I got a little bit of debt, no big deals. It's paying you nearly 3% just to hold on to the darn thing. Yeah, it's a quality run company. So if you own that or looking to buy it, yeah, it's in a stage one base. I mean, if we look at the monthly here, this thing was ripping in 2022 during while Powell was raising rates. It's 78, $79 stock. It's now at 35. So yeah, if you liked it at 70, you should love it at 35. All right. That's enough for the oil and gas. I mentioned IREN. This thing's on fire. I mention it pretty much every day. And just gotta say that um, they've expanded their capacity. And yeah, it costs money. They're dealing with NVIDIA chips. But I would just say, even if this thing, well, I set it at 40. If it doubled from here to 80, it'd be inexpensive. But if it doubled from here, now you're looking at 95. And I just think it's going higher. I don't know. It looks like it's going parabolic, really. Yeah, this thing's just going straight up. So it was too cheap. You could just say it was too cheap, and now it's catching up 22% this week, 3% after hours. So yeah, just super strong name. And of all the stocks in the group, that's the one I want to own because it's the strongest. This one's strong as well, but I want to own the leader, so I've just been in IRA a fan for longer than these other ones. Wolf is another one that I know people like, and it's just doing nothing wrong, consolidating in a base here, not in a base, excuse me. Well, it broke above the the Darvis box there at 1071, and so that really right there would be your breakout uh, move right there. And now it's just, surfing the five to higher prices. So that one looks good as well. GLXY, another one in this group that's IPO, broke out of the IPO base and formed this, double bottom pattern. And now it seems like it wants higher prices. That one's super strong. CoreWeave, I like the CoreWeave setup. Why? Well, you can see the 5 has already rallied through the 50. The 21 this week has rallied through the 50. Strong name, man. I just love this formation here. It broke above this downtrend line. Whoop. Last week, well, last Thursday or Friday, came in Monday, ripped higher. Tuesday, pulled back a little bit. And it was up 2% today while the Nasdaq faltered. Yeah, I like this one a lot. I might put this one on my ready list. Above today's high of 133.80, call it 134. Definitely take a look at CoreWeave. Super strong name. I know it sold off in the morning. Yeah, right here, and then whoop, just rallied all day. So somebody likes CoreWeave. NBIS, this one's just a monster. You can't keep these stocks down. They're just Tom Petty stocks, just want higher and higher prices. This one made it up to, I think, about 115 today. Yeah. And just surfing the five here since the breakout on the news of the deal with Microsoft, I believe it was. CLSK, this is one that I put on my radar list today. I think this is one to watch. Um, hasn't really, well, it has broken out, but hasn't really broken out. How about that? I mean, it's made a move off the low, right? 8 to 14, but it's stalling around that 1366, call it $14 area, allowing these moving averages to catch up. That's the five here. So you might expect one day for it to pull back to the five and bounce, or it just might take off to higher prices. But I like this one a lot. What else do I have? Okay, I'm going to move on because I mentioned about the AI stock selling off and a lot of that, pullbacks and some of the leaders. You want to own OKLO. I don't know how many days this thing's going to pull back. It's just been on, it's been on a heater for a while now. God, I'm just looking back here, $17 back in April when we got liberated. Now it's 130. Yeah, so sharp pullback today of 8%, $11, but still trading right there around the five. So maybe tomorrow pull back to the five and bounce. I don't think this one's going to be held down for very long. LEU, another one of these um, energy plays, strong stock and a strong group just pulling back to the five, down 9% today. Yeah, like I said, I don't think these things are going to be down for long, but those are the two leaders and the stronger names in the group. What else sold off today? Oh, ALAB has been selling off and it's had a big run, right? Big run from what, 84 to 250, 262, and now the last four sessions it's pulled back with some pretty strong volume. So it needs to find support. It didn't find it at the 21, at least not yet. It can definitely rally back through, but just pointing out that some of these AI stocks are, profits being taken. You got to expect, profits to be taken. Remember, next Wednesday is the end of the month, right? So you might have some window dressing and some shenanigans around that type of event. People want to take profits, and people also, want them, I shouldn't say people, institutional, fund managers, they want them on the books, and they also want to take their profits and lock those things in before quarter end. Okay, so that was Reddit. CRDO, another one. It was up, pull back to the 21 today, down 8%, but it's just on the weekly, Look at how many weeks in a row this thing was up. I mean, come on, you got to take some profits along the way. It was up 8% like 5 weeks ago, 14, almost 15%, and the week of the 12th, up 15%. Last week, another 5%. So it gives back, 12 after this big run. I mean, you got to expect it. That's all I can say. And if you don't take profits, well, you got to play the game, right? Play the game along with these money managers. At least I do. I'm not telling you what to do. That's the way I play it. So you do what you want, but losing profits just sucks. How about that? This is CLS. Looks like it's setting up in this like a flag type pattern. Recently, it had a 3 weeks tight area, then ran up, and now it's forming another kind of a tight area there. We can see this on the daily chart, and it was down what, nearly 7% today. Just did no harm, no foul here. It's still above the 21, holding up better than the others, but still, AI stocks are selling off. There's no debating it. Palantir had a big move since the Powell rate cut. And the expectation that we're going to have two more rate cuts sold off a little bit today. Eensy beensy teeny weeny, not even 2%. Oracle, they're in the news a lot about this TikTok BS, but that's not a reason to buy the stock. It ran up on earnings, pulled back to the five, found support, super strong stock. It looks good to me. All right. STRL, this is kind of the data center build out play. Made a new high today and then pulled back. Look at that bar. That's like 376.75 was the high, the low 343. That's like a 10% move. And you can see this thing is a tight trader. Look at all the way up, very tight. The daily moves, like $10, like less than 5% the whole way. Now all of a sudden you get this you get this 10% bar. So that's not normal, right? That's abnormal. So I'll definitely be watching that one. But this one's probably going to find support and bounce higher, and any pullback has been bought. If you just look at this thing on the weekly, yeah, there's your chance before it got liberated, and then it's just been a stellar stock for a long, long time. All right, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstocktrucks.com. We never give up. Except in honor of the great Steve Jobs, we have one more thing. And Steve Jobs always left the best thing for last. But I don't do that. I just want to honor him with one more thing. I'm not saying this is the best thing. KB Homes reported after hours. They beat on the top and bottom lines. I didn't listen to the call or read the report. I'm sure they, used incentives like Lennar. They did tighten up their full year guidance, but it's flat after hours. It's not selling off like Micron. So, and a lot of these names, like DHI, they're set up with cup with handles patterns, and they made this low and up again today. There was a positive housing report today. I don't know if you could believe the numbers, But that's the numbers are the numbers, and they responded positively. Pulte Home, same thing. Yeah, yeah, it's been. I think that could be it for these things. They might turn up. They might start to turn up here. This is NVR. This is an $8,000 stock. But you just look at the green line here, the five, and it's starting to curl. And if that thing starts curling up through the 21, then we have something here with the home builder. So it's one that I'm watching very closely. And I cannot leave without mentioning Open Door. Highly, I wouldn't want to say controversial, it's just a highly talked about stock. A lot of people, a lot of haters, that it's a dog and it shouldn't be up this much, and it's a meme stock. And then you have the people who are, the open army who believe in the new CEO and the new management team. But after hours, it's up nearly 10% because Jane Street, which is a quant fund, bought what I said, 44 million shares. It was disclosed after hours, 6% of the company. 6% of the company, folks. That is a big first time buy. So they know something about the new CEO, Kaz, or they know something about it is a very sharp fund. These guys are very sharp. Jane Street, I think this thing's probably going to rip tomorrow, and 10% after hours just a start. But technically, we want to look at this thing. And I talked about the flags breaking, and this one broke. And you could see the five curling down, right? But all it did was come down to the 21. It found support and it bounced today. And it looks tomorrow like it's really going to bounce. I think the new highs are in danger here. What is it? 1087? Yeah, that would not surprise me at all. Um, yeah. Anyway, that's it for Open Door. Very volatile stock. I think if you want to own it, I think you just buy it and put it away. Don't even look at it. Come out about Christmas time, see where we're at. Because it's just, stocks like this give me a heart attack. They're just down so much. It sold off 35% in 4 days, and now it's only 24%. So, yeah, it sells off 14% down for the week, and it's going to get a lot of that back. They closed last week at 957. So to have a positive week, it's got to get above 957. Just a volatile name. Very interesting stock, though. Anyway, thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up.